Your guides in Photoshop are really confusing and annoying. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't um, center the notes in the middle because that only gives me half as much play. Let's let's paste all the notes in from the previous thing. All right. I don't know. Like there. Nope. Like we kind of want the guide to be like up here and have all the notes hanging down. Or down and going up. The thing is, if they're hanging down, we'll clip into the floor a lot. We'll see. Let's just get them all out here. Let's just get them all out here. I mean, I was trying to do this like, oh, it's a 128 by 128 selection region, but then it doesn't matter because it's resizing it to like whatever is the transparent region. All right. We're just going to put it, we're not going to center it yet. We're just getting them all there. We're getting them all there in approximately the right place. No, not the guide. No, not a bomb. Okay. So obviously this little Frankfurter on the left is easy. He goes anywhere. Let me make sure I want to make sure in this PSD we are saving this image reference just so that people know what we are talking about. So you see this, it's got a 4-line staff and then it's got notes, right? So that's what we're doing. Okay, so what do we do about these? What do we do about these? I think we move our greens. I kind of want these. We could rearrange them in terms of See, some of these we want to put toward the top, right? And reference that as going down. Because there's you don't want to position it by down here, although we could be weird and do that. But then some, like, I don't know, these are so tall. If we do that with everything, it's just going to clip, right? Maybe that's fine. Maybe we just let it clip. But yeah, we don't want it to be in the middle, right? If it's in the middle, like this doesn't even fit in the texture. So I mean, we can always bump it up. Like if we know it's a bigger symbol, we could, like, bump it. All right. So what if it's 16? Why is Photoshop so ass at snapping? It's been complete ass at snapping for its entire lifetime. Okay, so that's 32. So we could place it 32 pixels down, and then in code, the whole point of this is that in code, we can then generate quads for these, and they will be in the right place, right? Like we can position them intelligently. Like, why is it missing the thing with the snap? Why is it so bad? Okay. I mean, this one's kind of crazy. How far off it is. We'll think about that, about if we need to move this to the right or something. Okay. This is acceptable. This is acceptable. Okay, so we're going to save this out. And then I'll show you guys where we're at right now. I did do off-stream work on this Bard notes.png. We'll put that in source control. We'll go into our source code. Bard notes texture. Notes. Why did I do that? Okay. Let's compile it real fast. Uh-oh. This is not, you're not supposed to do that. We'll see. Am I ready for the year of the Linux desktop brought to us by Valve? Valve is not going to bring us the year of the Linux desktop because nobody who buys a Steam machine runs Linux in a desktop way. Like, yes, in the Steam interface, you can, like, shell out to the desktop. But the whole reason that people buy these is to not do that. It's like saying it's going to be the year of the Linux desktop because everybody has Android phones. Okay. So we've got this thing. We've got it working so that when you go in the wall, it's still barely visible. I've got some noise on it, the white to magenta. I think the noise is honestly kind of ugly right now, but it's actually not so bad because in the previous version, right, we had our messy staff with notes painted in on it and it just looks super gross. Now it looks kind of okay. And so I'm just going to generate notes on here, I guess, and try to figure it out. Now, my problem is, okay, in my mind, I was going to generate notes just as quads in front of this staff. And then we were going to do something cool where if we generated them in the back, like we would draw them behind that side of the staff. So they would sort of be behind. And if they're in front, they would be in front, right? The thing that I'm worried about is if they're just quads, they're going to like peel off as we go around. Unless we frickin' tessellate them and project them to the fucking shape with exactly the same quads. And like, that sounds really annoying and stupid, but it's what would be required. The other thing we can do is just, we could render them into a texture and then scroll the texture. That sounds awful, but you know what? I actually kind of don't mind the idea. You can create a font with the notes. How is creating a font going to help me in any way? It allows rendering them as characters. How is rendering them as characters going to help me in any way? You realize when they're in a quad, you can render it as a quad. So like, what do you mean, bro? Okay, you know what we could do? We could just like draw the notes quad by itself. The thing is, we didn't actually size it to the same aspect ratio as this thing. But yeah, this is the thing. Like we've got these little sinusoidal gyrations and stuff, and they're kind of subtle. But again, if the notes like ignore that, it's not great. And if they don't ignore it, then we have to do a ton of work to like project them onto the thing. That does not sound fun. Not at all. But I think we got to render it to a texture, guys. Does anyone have a better idea? How is the line shape drawn? It's a texture. But even if it were a shader, we would have the same problem. I guess that's what we could do. Okay. Instead of rendering to a texture, it does have its own shader. It's just the shader's just drawing a texture. So we could like blend these other textures in the shader. That sounds a little bit banana cakes. I don't totally love it. It would be faster. I'm not sure we're worried about fill rate or anything like that in this case. And then you rendered glyphs into the background texture. Yeah, I mean, in this case, I don't think we want to render it into the same texture where these lines are, because like I said, we want it to be in front or in the back. So I think we want it to be a different texture. But we could just render them into the texture. That is true. A texture map where every note is rendered multiple times with a specific skew. I see. So you mean instead of randomly choosing notes. Okay, here's the thing. Let's decide even what we're doing. My original idea was, hey, we could just randomly generate notes as if they were particles, right? Speaking of particles, okay, we have this fucking bug. We might have to debug this because it wasn't happening yesterday when I tried to debug it. When I switch to Warrior, the Bard thing should shrink, and it's not shrinking. And you'll notice the little particles, the old style particle system, just stopped appearing. Why is that? I don't know. So let's debug that first. But while we're debugging that, we can think about the following question. Is it a good idea to just do notes randomly? Or we could have a set of pre-prepared textures that we crossfade between that actually has a real music composition in it. And then it would actually be intelligent. It wouldn't like be random notes. It would be like, look, this is a song. A set of pre-prepared textures is what you mean. You know what? I like that idea much better. I like that idea much better. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a texture map that's the same width as this staff texture, but it'll be higher. It'll be taller to give us room for notes to go off. And then we're just going to paste some notes in there for now, and we'll just have one to begin with, right? And then once that works, and we can do the cool thing where there's just one, and it'll be in front or in back, and it'll like have a different color scheme than the purple lines. And that'll help this look better. Like one thing, you know, we're throwing all this noise in there and stuff, but it's still like monotonic, right? like it's still, you know, magenta and white. And like if we get some other colors in there, I think it'll help. Even if it's just like gold to magenta or something, because we do have this Bard theme. Okay. For people asking who obviously were not on when I showed this reference image for half a second, this is sort of like what we're doing here. See this? This is real music, my guys. Not like that punk rock you listen to today. I don't know what's going on here where they wrote like a couple notes and then there's nothing. Oh, I guess it's faded. There was stuff here and somebody licked the page too many times. I don't know. Okay. Maybe it was erased and redone. Page behind it, perhaps. Perhaps. These are also kind of faded weirdly, right? So I don't know what's going on there. Anyway. Okay. Before we do that, why... Oh, dude. We don't have Visual Studio running. Debug. Attach to process. Okay, so let's find the right place to break. What? The most useless performance window in the world. Bard particles. So here we're supposed to be like update Bard emitting particles. Oh God. Okay. So if the radial emitter gets destroyed for some reason, we're actually not changing the active T. That's really bad. Okay. So it's obvious we don't have to attach in the debugger. It's just, yeah. Now, is it good that the radial emitter doesn't exist? No. So, well, let's figure out why that, because well, it was probably to do with undo and stuff. All right, so let's fix this. Let's fix this. So most of this doesn't have... When this code was originally written, it was all about that radial emitter, right? And now it isn't. Now, here's the thing. Right? So... something like that. I don't know. It's not called entity. Did I fix that? It used to be called entity particle source because that's what it was called in Witness, even though all the other entities don't have the entity prefix. And maybe I type given double star. That would have been a silent error until this most recent beta. Lol. Or not a silent error. It would have been silently accepted. Find or add Bard emitting particles. Turn P. Oh, this is return PS. Manager. I would like to talk to the manager. I would like source. What was source? Oh, let's call it entity source. Because that's confusing calling it source, because the particle source is called a source. Let's call it base entity. I just don't want to use the word source in there. All right. Base entity. Base entity. Base entity. Oh. BEP guy. Dude, I just said base entity. Entity Cerus. Bro, that really didn't get fixed, huh? We're having a fun old time with all these edits. PS, wait. Where did first frame catch up come from? Is that a global? Sounds like a really fun global. That's BEP, right? Yeah. Okay. We got it under control. We got it under control. Okay. So, I mean, it wasn't that easy to repro this bug, so the fact that it's working now doesn't mean it's gone, but it's probably gone. Okay, so as we said, let's just make a single texture, and it's gonna be. So here's our staff. This is almost big enough, but not quite. This is 1024 by 240. Let's make one that's how much do we think we need? An extra, I mean, just to be very healthy. Well, we have our notes, right? So let's get one of our crazier note. Well, okay, these are already sized. I sort of dragged them on here and sized them so they would fit the lines, right? So if we wanted to put, I mean, I guess also if we put something really low, we could kind of crop it, but we don't really want to. But all right, so what layer? How do I thought it was alt click, but it's not. How do I click and say what layer is this pixel? I thought it was alt click. Control click. No? No? Okay, well, we're doing this trick. It was highlighting that layer, so I don't know. I guess now it auto highlights the layer as you move your cursor around. So that's useful. Adobe did something useful. Okay, so if this is on the bottom, then we're missing about, oh God, dude, I need to lock the guides. Then we're missing about half the note. How big is half the note? It's 30, 40. So if we add 40 pixels on each side, that's pretty safe. I think. Now, when we go and do 3D, it's going to be even more amusing, but let's ignore that for now. So, we do a new image that's 1024 by 320. No, not a new. Can I do image new? Ten 24 by 320. All right. That looks chunky. No, what is happening? I just wanted this. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to do that. This is another useful thing Adobe actually did. You used to be able to, you used to have to do like 4 steps to like make the background be normal. All right. So we're going to put the staff in here. We're going to copy this. Copy that control. We're going to control. I thought control E. Oh, it did collapse it. I'm just confused because of where things went. Like why are these? Did I fuck up? Why do I have all of this? Oh, probably. Okay, hold on. It's just do over. Do over. Okay, so it's this layer 1 was the mistake. So we're going to do this again. We're going to copy this. We're going to paste it here. I guess it's vertically in the middle. All right. So we now take our notes. Can I just, well, okay. So this one we already said was sized. Where was our, I thought I had notes in here, not these notes. We don't want this one anymore. That's just going to confuse me. I thought I had notes on the thing. Did I delete that? I mean, we can just do it again. Let's just do it again. So we're going to paste this here. We're going to, well, okay, we're going to move it. I mean, that's the right size. So I must have resized it. Okay. So let's actually go back here. This is very spread out. Whoops. Dude, I always... What just happened? All right. Anyway. So I just want to do this. All right. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't. All right. So we do that. We do this. We do this. But now all our notes actually kind of fit in the image, right? So now we can just copy pasta from there. And we're just going to make a little funsies, right? All right, so we're going to go like this guy is going to be there. This guy is going to be there. I'm using my immense knowledge of medieval music to compose. Okay. Wait, did I just... Fuck. Dude, Photoshop. Not good. Photoshop, not good. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. What is literally happening right now? All right. I'm sure this would be awful to listen to. Okay, wait. Okay. I'm being confused by my lines here, but we actually have this like half staff scenario here. So I think we want to move this guy left. You know, we'll space these out for reels in a little bit. These are the placed notes. Okay, we're gonna hide them for a second so we're not confused. And then now we're gonna do the right half. The right half is gonna have this. It's gonna have this. going to have that again. It's going to have this one. This seems fun. And I don't know. What did we use on the left? Let's use this guy again. Okay, so I mean, it's good enough to do what we're trying to do right now. For sure. Ugh, dude, I literally selected this layer. What is your major malfunction? Why are you so bad? Why are you so bad? Forget it. We won't even try to use the mouse. Okay. That's good enough for now. Right? Um, so now, instead of Bard notes, we're going to go Bard notes 1 because there are going to be multiple. So we're going to add this. We're going to unadd this. Okay. We're going to go into our code. We're going to say Bard notes textures. Okay. Let's make sure that compiles. And then let's put them on the screen. Okay. We have all these super quadric points, and I stored them in a buffer. But my buffer is the wrong size. Oh, wait. No, this is 2D. Wait. We call get super quadric point. Here's where we put it. We have this radius quad. We could just generate. So the reason I'm buffering the quads is because we do at least 2 passes over them. We do like a shadow. I'll show you guys. I didn't really call attention to this before, but we're drawing a shadow behind all of this before we do anything to like help it pop. So it's pretty subtle, but if you zoom in, see that? See that? So that's just a texture, and you know, we could animate that or add noise or something, but for now, it's just kind of this subtle backstop, right? So we're doing that, and then we're putting the current wool rails, the Picatinny rails that the Bard has there in front of that, all right? And like I said, if we do these notes, well, we are doing these notes, and we want the notes to be sort of like placed nicely on the front, because like I said, they're going to be a different color and all that. So we're going to want to draw the notes in front when they're in front and in back when they're in back, right? And because these are transparencies, you don't get Z buffer or anything, right? So we do it manually. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add, okay, P and Q are the smaller geometry for the staff texture. P and Q are the bigger geometry for the notes texture. We give the notes space to go above and below the basic staff. Should we just have made them both? You know what? Fuck it. They're the same size. Why don't we just make them the same size? Right? So right now, I mean, yes, you spend a little bit more fill rate, but it's a very small percentage of the pixels on the screen almost always. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. So the staff texture, this is 320, right? Oh, when we saved out this PNG, by the way, I didn't disable the layers. So that's a bunch of crap. We don't want all that. Okay, we don't want this. We don't want that. Let's resave that, baby. All right. So now the staff image canvas size 320, 1024 by 320 is are these 1024? I feel like something happened. 1024 by 320. Okay. So file, export, Panagonagne Bard staff. All right. Cool. Done. Done and okay, we're gonna 320 Bard radius. We have some hard-coded sizes. That's not good practice, but we'll clean those up when we're done. All right, we're just going to make sure it works. The notes will not yet appear. Okay. Oh, We didn't make the shadow texture bigger. It looks kind of cool, honestly. It's the wrong size. Let's fix that. Oh, I guess I just did it here. So we turn this off. We turn. Why am I not seeing anything? Oh, that's why this wasn't in the right. All right. Oh, this was the wrong thing anyway. I'll get that out. Just like everything else in Photoshop, layer selection sucks. Okay, so we were doing this. Okay. File, export, Panaganagana. I'm amazed that we don't have more graphics formats. Like we kind of stopped cranking out bitmap form. I think it's this one. We stopped cranking out bitmap formats at a certain rate at some point. Okay, so there we go. That is there. It's subtle. That's what we do sometimes, is subtle. Why did you choose to... Why did you choose to, is the question in chat. I don't know, guys. Why did I choose to? It's beyond me. I tell you what. Okay, so now, without getting too fancy, we're going to do a pass where we just draw on one side. We set it up to do two sides. But we're not, you know, step by step. So we just go Bard Notes Texture 0. I need to put this in a file maybe at some point so I stop getting lost. Okay. The purple part of the perimeter. The notes. All right. So immediate begin. We're going to use this same shader. This has some stuff like how it falls off and, you know, gets greatly muted when you're going into terrain and stuff, right? Okay, so we're going to go Bard Notes Texture 0. We're going to immediate begin. We're going to set color scale. And we're going to go notes color. We're going to have a thing called notes color. And for now, we're just going to make it yellow. All right. And so that won't be the prettiest thing in the world. This is notes color. And we just splat it directly on top. Okay, that didn't work. Did we do the right texture? Notes, textures, Bard Notes 1. Bard Notes 1 is that. So, maybe I just can't reuse this in this way. Maybe I've got to reset. I never quite know what the rules are. The rules of the game. Hey. Okay. The notes are a little too bright. They're a little bloomy. But this already looks better. This already looks better. And our first drink is down. I just discovered that my phone ran out of battery because my laptop just randomly connects to the personal hotspot there, even though I'm home. Oh, you want to see something awesome, by the way? See all these notes? Chang. Now they're backwards. Chang. 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 Okay. Anyway, you can imagine, like my laptop that I used to read chat went off the net is what happened. And I'm like, oh. Okay. Let's chill out on the note brightness. And let's add some data that we are not yet going to use. The extra data that we are going to add is going to be a pre-computation of whether this is front-facing this frame for each of these quads. Okay, so camera vector, camera pause, manager camera position. No, we want to use the viewpoint because view origin. Oh, no, it's fine. We'll just use that. VP.view origin. Let's call it view origin, whatever. All right, so the way you tell if something is front facing or back facing is as follows. Okay, so it's planar. The quad that we just generated is planar. We actually could use, so the normal is all right, so normal is cross product of P1 minus P0, that's like the bottom line, and then Z strut, which is what we use to get to Q0 or Q1. So you could resubtract these points, but we just know it's Z strut, right? And then front facing is dot product of normal, comma, delta, view delta, which doesn't exist yet, is less than 0. All right. And then we're going to say quad dot front facing equals front face. Did I say front underscore? Front facing. Okay. Now what's view delta? It's just view delta is P0, anything on the plane, really. P0 minus view origin, we called it. And that's why you got to know your vectors. Okay. Let's have a sanity check of if that is right. So num front facing is 0. If front facing, num front facing plus equals 1. Log, or S is t print front facing num front facing num segments. All right. Game report S, short game report S. All right. All right. So it's about less than half, and that makes sense. And now if we go over here, now it's approximately half, right? But if we move the camera in here, it's like approximately a quarter. So it seems to be working, right? Approximately a quarter. Approximately a half. See? Test-driven development. Okay. Delete that. We successfully did dependency injection. I can't believe, I mean, there was this whole thing where people were making fun of dependency injection yesterday on Twitter. Like, dude, you can find a VOD of me making fun of dependency injection 10 years ago. It's like people finally caught up. Maybe it was like 6 years ago, but I have definitely made fun of dependency injection publicly on stream several times. Nature is healing, yes. Okay. Let me grab another drink. Any questions so far? Any questions? What was my go-to Starbucks tea order? I mean, it's changed over the years. These days, I just sort of get English breakfast if I go to Starbucks, which is not that often. I go there sometimes because there's a couple around here that are open till 7:30 or 8 p.m., which is nice. Next is ECS. Yeah, I don't know why people don't make fun of ECS. It's probably... I didn't delete these comments. These don't make sense anymore. I mean, Mike Acton likes ECS and he's smart, but I don't know. ECS's time is coming. Well, it's definitely... When we release the source code for this game, dude, it's a really good game, and there's no ECS within a million miles of anything we are doing here. So, yeah, okay. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. If front facing continue, all right, and then if not front facing continue. Oh, that's the shadow. Actually, let's just draw the shadow behind everything. That's not, okay. We're going to do that here. We're going to go if front facing continue. By the way, isn't it baller that we can just use that, do this? Like, these are all just member variables of that. Come on, bro. Okay. Staff back faces, staff front faces, notes front faces, and then notes back faces. Okay, so this is a little bit annoying actually because of all this, I think we need to reset this, right? Because the problem, remember, we'll leave this for a second, but we basically want to interleave this, with two of these. And the problem was I had to immediate set shader because like setting the texture didn't work otherwise. And the problem with that is we need to do this crap again. And if you need to do that crap again, you might as well put it into a function. So let's do this. Let's make a function, and it's going to take a couple of arguments. Okay, draw staff quads. What is this called? Radius quad. Color. Front facing. I don't know. We'll start with that. And then we're just going to do this. Well, let's do that. Because we're doing the using. All right. So we're going to go. We're going to do this. And then we're going to go draw staff quads. Radius quads. Color false for back facing. And then radius quads color true. Okay, we're going to want to pass the texture as well. Okay. Okay. And then all this is going to be in here. We're going to set this. We're going to set the texture to texture. We're going to immediate begin color scale. I don't know why we have the color scale factored out from the color and we're clamping the color. That's weird, but whatever. It's how it's working right now. Something like that. We could draw the back faces slightly dimmer, you know? Okay, and then this is going to have an immediate flush. All right, does that make sense? Yes, sir, it does. We one-shot it. It still works. It still works. Okay, so the whole reason we're doing that is now, instead of this loop, we will do this. We will say draw staff quads, radius quads, Bard notes texture 0, notes color, 1.0 times alpha. They're still too bright. And then the front facing. So we're going to draw those. And then we're going to draw these. Okay. Look, it still works. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, which is a very subtle difference, is we just move this up here. Computers. Computers. You can't even tell. You cannot even fucking tell. Maybe because of the blend function? Maybe we're not doing it right. Okay. This is like... Okay. Let's just not draw these for a second, and we'll make sure that it's actually working. Because who knows? Okay, it is actually working. The notes are not all in the right place. So we're gonna bump them a little bit. And they've got some little energy sizzles. They're okay enough for right this second though. I don't quite get why they're the wrong that they are, but we can figure it out. Okay, but so you see we're not drawing notes. We're only drawing them on the front now. See that? We are not drawing them on the back. So let's try putting them on the back again now that we know that that works. Maybe we'll be able to tell now that they're dimmer. You know what we could do? You know what, guys? The notes are not yellow for now. What? Why are they still yellow? They're not yellow. They're white. They're the source texture color. That's weird. Okay. You can see sort of. No, I am completely confused by this. Let's turn off the front faces for now. Why is the notes color not shading the texture? We're going to have to look at that. It might be something else weird that I'm doing in the shader for this. I don't know. Okay, we're no longer doing the front ones. And yeah, so they are quite bright, and it looks like they're in front of the thing. Which, like, is the whole thing we're trying to avoid. Okay, let's turn some stuff off. Let's turn off the noise. Okay, that's alpha noise. Oh, color noise. Let's turn off the color noise. just do all this for color noise. Okay. That is how I expect it to look. So our color noise is really messing us up. Let's bring back the alpha noise for a minute. How much is that really doing? It's only doing a little bit. You can see the difference. It is not dramatic. It's more dramatic on the notes. Maybe I don't want alpha noise for the notes. But why is the color noise so drastic? Can we... Okay, so first of all... Oh, it's this part right here. It's the add, right? Okay. Let's add a variable that we could set here. Because maybe we want a tiny amount of color noise. Okay. We're going to say uniform float color noise factor, uniform float alpha noise factor, and down here we're going to say color noise equals mix color noise to 0, comma color noise, comma color noise factor, right? So if this is 1, we leave it what it was, and if it's 0, we turn it down to 0. Let the user decide how much color noise, right? And then the same, how much alpha noise. Factor is mix 0 factor alpha noise factor. We might want more control, like we might want to control these or something, but for now we're just going to do this. Now remember our handy function. Color noise factor, alpha noise factor. All right, and set constant I color noise factor. Noise factor. Alpha, okay, and then let's let this guy rest for a little bit here. We'll bring this back. We're gonna put these at 1, 1. Notes color noise is O.05. Notes alpha noise is O.1. All right. Does it need normalization? Was that about the back-facing check? No. Okay, so interestingly, we're not doing the right thing when the factor is low. You see how you can barely see the notes? Now you can see the notes. Okay, so interesting. Okay, so oh, this is opposite. This should go factor, comma 1. There we go. There we go. Okay. Let's do this. So we're going to go back here. This is going to be literally 7. We're going to hard code it for now. And then this is going to be like way less. We want hardly any. And also we could set the color noise color. At some point we want this to be a struct, probably. I don't know. This fact that we're recompiling a shaders is a bug that I wish someone would fix because I've been dealing with it for days now. Okay. So, honestly, I don't love the alpha noise factor at all right now on the notes. And I think we're going to want to pack all this into a struct at some point and all these things. Anyway. So, really small. And then we'll bring back the yellow. Oh, you know, I bet that was the color noise that was making it so bright, right? We don't even have to be using the same shader for this as we're using for the staff, but we are. Okay. You kind of still can't really tell, but so here they're in front. And here they're in back. It's just that they kind of blend. They kind of blend. So you can't totally tell. Like, you can't tell at all. See all that effort we went through and you can't tell at all? It's great. Maybe the new interview. What interview is this? I have not done an interview in a while. Okay, it was... Oh yeah, that one. It's been a while since I actually recorded this. So, yeah. Okay. Okay, what do we think about colors? I mean, the yellow is kind of ugly. Maybe if it's a much closer to white, like a shining gold. We can also like oscillate it to some color, right? Like we could oscillate it back and forth between gold, bright gold, and a very light, barred magenta color. That looks simultaneously better and worse than what we just did. Maybe the bard's staff should not go as white. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's not okay to be white here. Because maybe the notes provide the interest, right? Is that all the color noise? Let's see. Yeah. Oh, but there's also the flash. There's two. Let's get rid of the color noise for now. Let's tune it without the color noise and then try to get stuff in there. So let's turn down the flash a little bit. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe it's fine at this point, right? What do we want to do here? What would look good? I don't love the gold. Let's make it a very close. And then, yeah, like I said, we could strobe that. We could strobe between black and that. Oh God, we're doing all the shaders again. Could you make the backside darker? We could, yes. Yes, sir. I mean, that looks better, honestly. Let's do an experiment where we make the backside of both darker. All right. Staff color front is color. Staff color back is color. But staff color back dot xyz times equals. I don't know. It's hard to know what this is going to look like, right? So notes color front, notes color back, notes color back dot xyz times equals 0.7. Notes color back, staff color back. Wait, why are we? Yeah. We could just draw all these at the same time. I'm realizing now. But it is what it is. Oh, no, because we're passing different color. Never mind. Duh, we literally just said we're going to do different color. Notes color front. Okay. That might be interesting. We're going to want to tune the color noise factors and all that, but I mean, you can kind of tell. We could turn it more, but let's try strobing from black. I don't think that's going to look good. I mean, we could be really obnoxious. I just use the word strobe. How fast is the strobe? All right, so we're gonna. Okay, so color phase. Let's make it color phase fast. Okay. So strobe is I don't know if we have if the notes were in front of the bar staff. That's how it is. What do you mean? They are. They're just transparent a little bit. But they are in front. I mean, we could make them completely solid, right? Like literally zero alpha noise. Looking from the back, it doesn't seem too different. Yeah, well, that's what I was talking about, is like, because of the way things are blending and stuff, it's not that obvious. Right? But anyway, so here, okay. Okay, well, the alpha noise factor of 0 is not working. So that's weird. All right, so let's turn that off. Okay, so now these are clearly in front, right? These are clearly in back. It's harder to see because of the strobing, but the alpha noise didn't help. Maybe we don't do alpha noise. The going to black does it, even though it's going to like gray, it feels like it's becoming transparent instead. So that's not that great. And then also, like, we want to stay in the barred color range. So let's do this. What if the note strobe is inverted? We could do that. Need contrast in value and color. I mean, we could use opponent colors or something, right? Or not. It depends. What are we going for? Do we want to be in the same color space, or do we want to be in a really different color space? Anywho, it's bugging me how the notes are not vertically centered, so we got to check that. Let's just bring the camera in closer, since that's what we care about right now. Right. I mean, it doesn't look too bad right now. I mean, the old style stupid ass particles are still back there, but we'll deal with those later. It doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look as cool as like Diablo particle effects and crap, right? So maybe we need to figure that out. But for now, it's vastly superior to not working. Okay, so why? So maybe it wasn't centered. Oh, maybe this one's not freaking centered. So when I drag this over here, that didn't, what? What? Maybe I have to like copy it, collapse it, copy that, control, go here. Okay. So why is that so far off? That's even more far off than we're seeing, right? Let's look. Let's look from the front. So first note is a little high. I was gonna play a note and then I got high. It's okay, the scale seems a little bit wrong. Like, dude, I thought we were good about this. These aren't even in the same place. What is going on? Okay, let's do it the other way. Let's take staff flattened. We're going to copy it into our notes. That does look like where we're seeing it. So this looks slightly high. So we're just going to readjust our notes for this. We're going to put this back here. We could try to shade it, but let's just do that. All right, so yeah, I mean it's just a little off. This doesn't look that much off though, but some of the later ones do. Ah, that looks pretty. See, it just looks a little off there. It looks more off than it is. Why? But then, okay, we're drawing at the wrong. Okay. Yeah, so this is something I didn't think about, guys. This is not the problem, but we are drawing at a bad aspect ratio right now. Because we changed the texture dimensions, we didn't change the geometric dimensions of what we're drawing. And so the notes look kind of stretched vertically, and that's ugly. So we're going to want to fix that. That's fine. We did some math to figure that out. It looks stretched a bit, which is amplifying the offset. Yes. The stretch is not causing the offset, but it's making it look worse than it is. But also, like, some of these, like, maybe these are just not the right scale, even though I thought they were. Okay, this is weird. So, for example, what the fuck is with this guy? No, no. What the what the fuck is with this? Oh, it's doing everything. Dude, I somehow they just don't make it useful. So let's move this guy over next to this guy, right? Are these even the same height? Kinda, but not quite. You know what? Though the art team is going to do a good job on this later. Okay, that is my opinion, is that the art team is going to do a good job on this later. We're going to have real notes and stuff. And so, whoops. No, don't don't do that. So we're just why is it copied? Who is that? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What? Why is there double layer? Okay, this flattened. Whatever this is can. Oh, that was the flattened version of the whole image that we used to export. Right. Okay. That's why I was confused. All right, so we're just going to straighten these up a little bit. They got to straighten up and fly right. Straighten up. See, this one just doesn't fit. It's kind of bumming me out. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. I mean, we're doing all this work and you can barely tell that they're in front right now, but that's how I do video games sometimes. It's like things could be pretty subtle. Maybe it'll be better. So I don't like how this diamond, this Neil Stephenson's The Diamond Age is we're gonna fix the Diamond Age, dude. All right. Okay, so now we're gonna do that. We're gonna do placed notes, duplicate, save. No, we control E. We do this, we save file, export, quick export as Penang curry. And we do that. Okay. That's, I mean, it looks even worse, dude. I don't know what's going on. Maybe we got to resave out the staff. Like, at least now it looks consistent. It looks consistently slightly high. And stretched. And stretched. Straighten up and stretch right. Straighten up and stretch right. I mean, we could theoretically just re-export this because this is literally the same, even though it's not the file that we were doing this from. We're going to do it. Okay. So now that's literally the one. Okay, that looks better. So they weren't in the same position somehow. All right, still stretched. So we got to fix the stretch now. to stretch Armstrong. So we have some dimensions of the thing, which is, I mean, this is a little bit complicated, right? Because what's the circumference of this thing? It's more than the circumference of the square. How are we doing the UV mapping? How am I doing? Do the UVs, are they getting like stretched at the corners? I don't think so. How did I do the UV? I don't even remember. Okay. U is du. So every... Okay. This is not good. Or maybe it's fine. Maybe it's fine. Okay. So... maybe this is why it's stretched, though. Like, so we have du with theta. It doesn't look like it's stretching as we go around. Does it? Wait, maybe. Like, maybe it looks super thin and nasty there, but then as we get this guy on the corner, he won't. Like, that doesn't look super thin and nasty, right? That looks pretty good. That looks good. And then that looks super thin and nasty. So we have a non-uniform U delta. So here's what we could do. Here's what we could do. We're generating these quads, all right? We can generate the geometry in the first pass and then just literally add up the distance, all right? Because it's tessellated. We add up the total distance all the way around the thing. We divide by 4 because we're repeating 4 times. And then we just base the delta U off that. Off the distance every time. Okay. Pass 1 of quad generation. Compute the geometry and total distance around the super quadric. Maybe we could do that in closed form. I don't know, but we are generating the quads. Let's just measure the quads exactly. Okay, so distance total is going to be 0. And then as we do this, we're going to say distance total plus equals distance P0, P1. All right. Now, however, we're going to need actually let's iterate the same way here. We're going to move the UV stuff down here. And these, so the front facing and all that can be computed here. the UV is going to be here. And we're not going to try to correct the UV yet. We just want it to compile with these changes. Pass 2 of quad generation. Generate UVs based on our measured distance so's we don't stretch as we scroll. Okay, so distance total. Distance for 1u. Distance total times 0.25. All right, so du distance, let's say dist is distance of quad dot p0, quad dot p1, and then we're going to say, okay, I literally just said we're not going to try to go all the way. We're not going to try to one-shot it. We're just going to see if this still works. It does still work. All right, let's do it. Now, okay. By the way, all of this is basically static except for the little undulations that we're putting in. And maybe that's enough reason. I don't know. We'll see. So instead of this, we're going to say du is dist divided by distance for 1u. All right. And the problem is we can't use u0. So last u is 0.0, right? So u0 is last u. This is u time offset, actually. So u0 is last u. Last u equals u1. Okay. Look at that. Okay, let's move the Bard to the side. I mean, it looks better. It's still not the right aspect ratio, I don't think, but it's consistent aspect ratio now. See this? So when we look at this here, let's actually get a screenshot on exactly on the corner. No, not open. File, new, clipboard. So we've got that. And then we're going to get it on the side. See, video games is kind of fun sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes things can really happen and work. All right, so here we go. I mean, they're not quite the same angle, unfortunately. Let's shrink the size a little bit. Yeah, we didn't quite get the same angle. You can see how they don't totally, but that's it's basically the same. It's basically the same. Even with my free cam skills. So I'm satisfied with that. What would ChatGPT have done in that case? All right, now that said, let's look at the aspect ratio here. How wide is this? 419. How tall is it? 529. Okay, 419, 529. All right, so in our thing, how wide is it? I hope I didn't non-uniformly stretch them. Let's go. Let's go to this actual one so we're sure that we know what it looks like. Okay. Whoops. So this again, this should be the same approximately. Like I'm measuring it really sloppy, right? 73. 85. All right, so dude, it takes so long for the start menu to come up now. 419 over 529 is 80%, right? 73 over 85 is a little more, but I think that's like measurement error, right? Wait, is... I think it's probably measurement error. Anyway. Okay, wait, which one was this? Wait, no, hold on. Was this our... What was the 419? What was I measuring? Was I measuring this? No. Was I measuring the screenshot? I was, right? Yeah, so, okay, it's not measurement error. It is not measurement error, right? So, okay. So we want width over height of, let's just say 73 over 85. We want width over height of 0.86. And we now have 0.79, right? So 0.86 times, well, let's be really ridiculous. 0.859 times 529 is 454. Right? Oh, actually, it's easiest for us to change the height, not the width. Right? So I think 529 Wait, do we divide? What are we saying? We need to shrink the height. Do I just multiply by... So we want 487 instead of 520. 488. 92%. All right, let's just try that. We're just going to try putting in this hack factor. Because the thing is, we don't know what the U stretch is going to be and all that, right? So Z strut, which doesn't affect any of our distance measurements. Z height. Correction factor. We will have to explain this. Okay, so all right. Hey, it looks, whoops. Looks better, doesn't it? See, this is the kind of thing. So I made a rant earlier today or yesterday or something about again how the games industry does not work that hard anymore, and people were like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "People don't do this kind of thing anymore." Like, dude, in 80% of the games released, they wouldn't have done any of the things I just did. Especially, they wouldn't have done this thing where you trace around the thing to figure out the actual D. They would just left it distorted. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't have noticed in the first place that it was stretching. That's like where video games are at now. And I'm sorry to say it, but it's completely true. All right. So the old style particles are now kind of annoying because like they don't sort relative to this. So they're going in front all the time. Maybe we just get rid of those. Maybe we don't mind if they're in front. If they look better. Like we could sprinkle them around. Anyway, this is going to be much better to play. Let's take the W on this stuff. And then we'll tweak the particles. And just see if we can make them a little better. %, code-based animation? No. No? Are you kidding me? You want to animate human characters in code? What? Yeah, guys, putting something on a GPU isn't magic. Like, the GPU is just a computer like your CPU. It's a different kind of computer that's better at parallel things and not as good at serial things, right? So you still have to run the algorithm that you would run to do a thing. The algorithm might be stylistically different because, again, because of the difference. You know, a GPU is like many, many threads where each thread is simple. And a CPU is few threads where each thread is complicated. So what algorithm is a good idea in those contexts might be stylistically different, but like you got to do the same amount of work either way, right? Like the way an algorithm works is like it navigates you through a maze of computability to get to the destination you're trying to get to. And you have to get to that destination no matter what. And that's just like a certain algorithmic complexity is required to compute that answer. The GPU doesn't like magically turn the algorithm into 2 plus 2. It's complicated already, no matter what. So yeah. Can developers get early access to GameCube? I have not looked. I am not sure. For whatever the time frame would be for the release date of this game, we're not close enough to done that we would be coming out early in the GameCube life cycle. So we will just be able to get retail ones probably in a good time frame, and it'll be fine. And so that's what we expect to do. I think I remember I did get a Steam Deck kind of early from Valve. I got like a pre-release Steam Deck way back in the day. And then I had to return it later because they were like, oh, we did hardware changes. And I was like, all right. So maybe they'll do the same thing with the GameCube. But I don't know. I mean, who's to say? We could put the notes a little bit out in front, like in 3D. That would involve generating different quads. I don't know if I want to do that right now, but yeah. Look, our frickin' particle source went away, by the way. Why did that happen? Literally what just happened? Probably it's expecting the particle source to be there and it's not there. I feel like the particle source like times out right now. Which like what? Oh, fuck you. Ian! You're so fucking fired. All right. We're going to let this run for a second. Let's see if it times out. Yeah, I mean, dude, the icon for Remedy is over here. The thing is, I just don't enjoy Remedy that much. I don't enjoy Visual Studio either. But like, Remedy to me stopped short of being an enjoyable debugger. And it doesn't seem to be under active development. Which is a little bit sad. I don't know why. Maybe it is and I just haven't been noticing, but like every time I launch it, the experience is kind of the same, and I want it to be a little bit more nice to use. Right? That's all. Did I get the latest file pilot? Yes, I did. Yes, I did, and I've had no bugs with it yet, although I've only been using it for a day. Okay. Let's see if these particles time out. Any questions while we wait for them? find that streaming development like this improves my productivity? No. 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 You don't get why correction factor was still needed because you already normalized for the total tessellated length. Because what we're correcting is the height dimension based on the width dimension, right? So there's two questions, right? There's like how long is the U dimension, and well, and there's how long is the V dimension, right? Okay, let's put it this way. What am I trying to say? It's a little bit complicated. So at the start, before we do the UV coordinates, we say, okay, what's the width and height of the texture? And right now these are hard-coded numbers. We should look at the texture, but they're hard-coded. We say, what's the width and height of the texture? That's something we can fix, by the way. Particles aren't timing out. And we use that to, you know, figure out how tall is the geometry that we're going to draw based on how wide the thing is that we're going to draw, right? So it's 5 squares wide, and it's like 320 over 1024 now, right? So it's about 1/3 of 5 squares, which is 1.5 something squares, right? That's how tall that we are drawing it. 1.5 is about the tallness of the character as well, right? Now, it doesn't look like it's quite going that high, and that's because there's empty space on the top and bottom of the bitmap, as you will have seen, right? So, you know, there's empty space up here and down here. But so you can see, so 1.0 is actually these cubes on the wall. So we're already above 1.0 and we get to the top line, and then there's some empty space. So we figure all that out before we start drawing. We generate this ring with that information. Then we say we want the U coordinate to wrap around it 4 times, right? But we don't know how far that is, right? So that's what we computed, was the total distance for one U is like 1/4 the total distance around, right? So then we scale the U, but that doesn't necessarily bring the U into scale with the V, right? It would only bring the U into scale with the V if the ratio of the circumference to the height we chose was 4. But we know it's not 4. It's more than 4. Because, well, sorry. I left out some factors. But what am I trying? So basically, when we did that computation initially, we didn't really know the spatial distance either, right? We assumed it was a square, right? We assumed we were mapping around a square. Now, maybe the correction factor between both of those is actually the same, and I should think about it and fix it. That's possible. If that were the case, then I don't know. We would like generate the bottom ring in one pass and then the top ring in a second in the UV pass after figuring out the height. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's the same correction factor. but it doesn't seem like it. I'm not sure. It was 5 minutes. Oh, they did time out. Okay, so we're attached to the process. Now, what did I do to crash it before? Did I reset the level? I don't want to reset the level. That's scary. Is the particle source's lifetime just... Let's see. Radial emitter. It's got to exist because otherwise we would create a new one. I don't know why it crashed then, if it exists. Oh, there's so many variables on here. Emitter lifetime -1. That means it's supposed to live forever. It might be that there's some problem in the shader. There's weird stuff. So there's burst mode that we're using in this that we're going to take away. Let's just see if we can figure out what did I do that made it crash last time? It wasn't that. Okay, and then I undid and it comes back. Let's just change it a little bit. So where is the Bard particles? Here. So these are getting wrapped around the thing. Let's turn off the burst mode. This UI, I literally never know. I literally never know where literally anything is. Okay, no burst, please. So particles per second is set to 0. 100,000. So this is just like more normal than. So it could be that the bursting is kind of broken, right? Let's just try this. And we'll see how it is. There's a high possibility that I've been using it since long as you've been alive. I started using Visual Studio in 1996, which is, you know, what would I say about that? 1996 is a while ago, but not forever ago. All right, so now I want to change the box. So we don't hot load particles. So we got to restart the game every time, but something like that. So how tall is the box? 0.89 times 2. Let's do 0.8 times 2. Let's just try that. Well, I don't have to recompile. Longer than you've been alive. All right, well. Okay, this wasn't good. Um, the culling is busted, which is also annoying, but so the problem is I don't know what's happening in code to tweak the particle source. So let's take a look at that. There's a CPU side, and then of course there's a GPU side. Oh, we still need to figure out on the GPU side, what do we want back in terms of like color randomization and all that? I never took that W that I was saying, right? Did I? I don't think I did. Okay, let's do our no check-in. Okay. So we put in our note of what we would do. Now you still can't really... The thing is, for the DUs, it's not a constant scale factor across all the things, right? But, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So... I forget what I was doing. It's almost time to go out and have fun dancing. Oh yeah, we were going to look at the Bard particles, radial emitter, spawn single source particles. That sounds like it doesn't really mess with that. Okay, so spawn Bard particles. Yeah, so this is just hard coded. Like literally doesn't matter. There we go. It looks like fireflies. It's magical. Oh, that's what we did. I mean, maybe it just always crashes now. It's got to be a really dumb bug, right? Right. Yeah, I just switched characters. That's... Oh, we're recompiling all the shaders because I changed one number. It's like I'm working on Unreal Engine. Okay. So we're scheduling for destruction. Radial emitter. Oh, we're just not checking. We need this. This is null. Yeah. This is easy. That's all. That's all. Good thing we didn't check that in. Code View Protect Mode Debugger in 1986. Dude, that in 1986 was some hardcore times in computer land. Right? It was a different time in terms of what software was and how it worked. I mean, I was in 1986. I might not have had my Commodore 64 yet. I might have still been TRS-80. This isn't too bad. You could think of all sorts of nutty stuff that you could do. But I think this is a decent improvement over what we had. It's a great playability improvement, and it looks more interesting. Okay, let's try to figure out the no check-ins in the shader file. Bard radius. So the color noise, let's put that back for a second. It's kind of ugly, honestly. I mean, that doesn't look better at all. Let's just manually force it down. That looks a little better, right? That's without color noise. Let's try to get the Emax in the live update here. So if I make it times 0.5, that's a lot. So that's 0 again. All right. That's 0.1. The 0.1 maybe looks interesting. So instead of multiplying it by 0.1 here, we can go back to the CPU code and put that back. We can go instead of 7, we can put 0.7. That's 0.1 times 7. All right. Alpha noise. Okay. We can't even tell, honestly. Wait, this is wrong. Mix. So if alpha noise factor is 1, we're setting factor to 1. That's wrong. I had it right the first time. It's just I was confused, right? It's factor is mix 1 to factor. Oh, it wasn't right the first time. I did 0 to factor. Okay. So there you see we have some alpha noise. Let's just try. It has a little bit of sizzle. I'm sure we can do something a lot better. So the 0.7. Let's just crank it up and we'll try. All right. So there's no check-ins in here anymore. All right. Yeah, hot reloading is fun, but I don't use it for CPU code. Because I just don't. There's just too many complications in CPU code and too many problems. Oh, God. Like, it feels like it should look better, but it just looks ugly. We could mess with the noise scale and stuff. I mean, though, honestly, we would be further out here. But, like, it just doesn't look that good. It doesn't look magical. It just looks... It looks like indie pixel art. Let's try messing with the scale. Right? So alpha noise, this Worley noise, this is a scale factor that's like world space units. I could like turn that down. It's a little more sizzly. I don't know, dude. I mean, honestly, that's a little better. Like the tiny alpha noise, that's better. Kinda. I think there's too much. Can you see it in a level with art? What's a good bard? A lot of the bard levels don't have art. We could drop her into a level. I mean, I'm sure there are levels. I just don't know right now. Let's see. It's just we redesigned many of the bard levels. Oh, you know, okay. Let's try the bard over water levels. So the other thing that we're not doing is we haven't yet added some factors that you could use to control these for different environments, right? So like over here, there's some bard levels. And, well, you know, you could imagine that you want to tune this differently for this environment. Skippy Stone one that looked like it was in a cave. Yeah. Yeah, I know which ones you're talking about. I don't remember where they are. So like here, even between these two levels, right? Like here, it stands out more because our camera's closer in. And here, it's kind of blending a little bit into the blue until we go back here, right? So what does that mean for how things should look? I don't know. Dude, this is so much better to play than the particle thing that we've been doing. Coming up with the puzzles has got to be a full-time job in and of itself. Yes, it's a lot of work. It's not just coming up with puzzles. It's like, how do you make it good, right? So, you know, we have two people helping with design in a not full-time capacity. This is pretty good for right now. I think my next step is to just hand it to the art team and say, hey, art team, what do you want to do about this? And maybe they could do some very short-term things. Maybe have the color attached to the level data. Yeah, I mean, you would be able to set some of these parameters on the Bard probably. Like, What are the colors of the things? And so forth. I'm going to take the W, but that's something I might consider adding tonight. And you would just be able to select the Bard and set those parameters. That's all the levels in that one section. It looks cool up close, actually. I mean, we could obviously try to think of ways to make it cooler, but I like it. I'm kind of tired now. It's been a good day. The pulsing to white actually looks better in the full art levels. Yeah, it's because, well, it looks better in these levels, right? Because it kind of rhymes with some things in the scene. Let's try something ridiculous. Let's go back to the overworld. Let's go to some levels that are really different art-wise that I don't even think have a bard in them, right? These ones. So like, I think there's some darker ones. These aren't as dark as I remember. Let's just put the bard in here. See what happens. I mean, that's not that bad, guys. How do you fund development with employees for that long? The Witness was a very successful game. Nevertheless, we have spent too much money. We have spent too much money, and we got to ship the game. But yeah, The Witness did great. It's still doing great. It still makes money. I mean, I think this is a little awkward, like looking at the back side, but this may be fine. I might tune the fallout rate, fall off rate, or whatever. I don't know. It's all right for now. This is the point, like, for programmer art, this is really good. This is 100% programmer art. So we will pass it to the art team, and we will see what they want to do with it. Did Great Anniversary make money? Yes. Yes, it did. But, like, if you just say which of the two games made more, like The Witness made a lot more than Braid overall. Braid plus Braid Anniversary. But both games were profitable. We've never had an unprofitable game. Honestly, this might be because we've spent so much money just rebuilding the engine and doing the programming language and doing the biggest puzzle game anyone's ever made. It's quite possible that it's just too hard to make all the money back this time. We'll see. So I do feel like there's a weird... See how the Bard just looks really... The Bard staff... It looks really flickery. Like, why is it that flickery? What's going on there? Does it look flickery to you? Or is this like my CRT? Is it my CRT like ghosting? I think it is. I think it's aliasing. Because it doesn't look flickery now. Maybe it's the noise aliasing. Weird. Also, we do have a very low frame rate because we're in debug build. That's really not helping. Anyhow, I am happy with that. Let's do an update and a commit. Is it possible to make a profit out of a programming language? I mean, I don't have a plan to do so. There are, some people would have plans like, oh, we'll do support like Red Hat style, or we'll do like, we'll sell the elite tools to people. And maybe there's some future for that, but that wouldn't be the base programming language, and that would be additional work that we would have to do, right? So if the question is, how do you capitalize on the work that you have done? The answer is, I don't know, and there's not really a plan for that. I wish I could, because, dude, it's easily 3 to 4 years of my time doing that programming language. At whatever high rate do you think someone would be paid in the Google, Facebook world for like being able to write an entire C++ competitor themselves? I did have some help, but the vast majority of that time it was mostly me. So like if you value it, let's say you only value it at $500,000 a year, it's like, okay, how do I get $2 million for making this programming language? And it's like, well, it seems hard, right? It seems hard. Okay. Bard progress. What will I do if AI replaces me? Well, if AI replaces me, it certainly will have replaced the hundreds of thousands of guys who don't feel like they even should try that hard to be a good programmer. So, like, that's the upheaval you got to worry about. If I have a job or don't have a job, the economic impact is not going to be that big. If 500,000 people have a job or don't have a job, that's a bigger thing. Did the C++ creator make money from C++? You know, he probably has. I imagine many people hire him just for name value and whatever, right? To consult on things. Anyway, thanks for coming by, everybody. I appreciate you coming by. It's been a little bit since we rated somebody, and so let's see how the software and game development category is going these days. I apologize for the bright mode, but it frickin' saves the settings per device, and I've done dark mode so many times. I'm tired of trying to figure it out on every single program because they keep resetting me all the time. Maze Game Godot Game Dev. Art Experiments. Positive vibes only. Godot. Is it Godot month? Unity. VTuber. Godot. Bardholio. Mew Premiere. Is it Godot month or is just everybody doing Godot now because they're sick of Unity? I mean, I know they were back when Unity did that licensing thing, but like, um, they walked that back, and I would assume that people walk back with it. I don't know. Maybe not. Everyone in Twitch does Godot now. Okay. Is Bard over for the next stream? Maybe. I don't know. We're gonna see. I feel like my job is kind of done there now until the art team comes back to me with like, hey, we want to do this with it. And so what's that gonna look like? Am I gonna do that on stream? I don't know. I'm not seeing a lot to host here. Paper Robot. What is Paper Robot the name of a game? Or is it an actual robot made out of paper? Okay, we have a no VTuber policy, by the way. We will not raid VTubers unless they are the burnt peanut. That is the policy. He is not a VTuber, he is a PTuber.
Trying to think of how we can create a stun mechanism.
Okay, it looks like some stuff is happening here, right? That's our requirement. So here we go. What was this guy's name? Dobbs Works. Okay. Thanks, everybody. See you later. Have a good night.